Did you know you have a second brain in your gut? Hidden in your belly are over 100 million nerve cells, more than your spinal cord, and they're busy. In fact, your gut even makes about 90% of your body's serotonin, the famous happy neurotransmitter. Surprised? It turns out your mood isn't all in your head. It's time to discover how your gut health could be shaping your emotions. We all experience anxiety, low moods, or irritability at times. Maybe you felt on edge or down for no obvious reason. It's frustrating, and it's easy to blame ourselves or think it's all in my head. But what if something deeper is going on? Many people struggle with stress or sadness that doesn't fully go away, even with therapy or medications. Here's a thought. An imbalance in your gut might be one hidden cause. Emerging science suggests that when the digestive system is out of whack, it can send distress signals that make us feel anxious, blue, or mentally foggy. In other words, a cranky gut can lead to a cranky mood. It's a perspective shift. Your gut feelings are more than a metaphor. So if you're battling mood swings or anxiety that nothing seems to fix, the culprit may lie in your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in you. Let's explore this gut-brain link, and more importantly, how to nourish your gut for a calmer, happier you. Think back to the last time you had butterflies in your stomach when nervous, or a gut-wrenching feeling when upset. That's your gut and brain talking. In fact, scientists often refer to our gut as the second brain, and for good reason. The gut has its own network of neurons, the enteric nervous system, that constantly chats with the brain via the vagus nerve and chemical messengers. This communication channel is what we call the gut-brain axis. How does this axis influence emotion? Imagine your gut is like a tiny information center sending updates to your brain, sometimes cheering, sometimes sounding an alarm. It does this in several ways. Nerves. The vagus nerve is like a direct telephone line between your gut and brain. When your gut is happy, say digesting a healthy meal, it sends all is well signals. When it's irritated or imbalanced, it can send distress signals that influence your mood and even stress response. Ever get a stomach ache when you're anxious? That works in reverse too. An upset gut can signal the brain to feel anxious. Chemicals and neurotransmitters. Amazingly, the microbes in your gut produce many of the same chemicals your brain uses to regulate mood. They make neurotransmitters like serotonin, GABA, and dopamine, or stimulate your body to produce them. Serotonin helps us feel content. GABA calms anxious signals. Dopamine is tied to pleasure and motivation. Your gut bacteria are essentially little pharmacists. They don't send serotonin into your brain directly. Gut serotonin mostly stays in the gut. But they do send messages that can trigger the brain to adjust neurotransmitter levels. Think of it like your gut bacteria shooting text messages to your brain. Hey, we need more calm down chemicals here. The result can affect how you feel emotionally. Immune and inflammation signals. The gut is a huge part of our immune system. When the gut is healthy, it keeps immune reactions balanced. But if something's wrong, like harmful bacteria overgrowing or a weak gut lining, the gut can release inflammatory molecules, cytokines, that travel in the bloodstream. The brain listens to these signals too. Low-grade inflammation in the body can lead to symptoms like brain fog, fatigue, and lower mood. It's as if inflammation creates a cloudy fog that can dull your mood and thinking. Many people with depression or anxiety have higher levels of inflammation in their bodies than average. The gut, when unhealthy, is often a key source of those inflammatory signals. In short, your gut and brain maintain a constant open line. When that communication is clear and balanced, you tend to feel emotionally stable. When the messages get distorted, say by misbehaving gut microbiome, your emotional state can suffer. What happens when the gut isn't healthy? One common issue is dysbiosis, a fancy word for an imbalanced gut ecosystem. Think of your gut as a bustling city of microbes. There are helpful citizens, beneficial bacteria that keep things clean and productive, and there are troublemakers, harmful bacteria or an overgrowth of normally harmless ones. In a balanced gut city, the good guys keep the peace. In dysbiosis, the troublemakers run amok. Several things can throw your gut balance off. A poor diet, too much sugar, not enough fiber, chronic stress, infections, or overuse of antibiotics, to name a few. When dysbiosis strikes, a few important changes happen. Fewer good signals. Beneficial bacteria that produce mood-supporting chemicals might decline. For example, some friendly gut bugs produce butyric, a short-chain fatty acid that reduces inflammation and fortifies the gut barrier, preventing leaky gut. If those butyrate producers dwindle, your gut can become inflamed and more permeable. Toxins like LPS, endotoxin from certain bacteria, can leak into the bloodstream and spark inflammation everywhere, even in the brain. It's like the neighborhood watch in your gut quit their job. Now the bad guys roam free and chaos ensues. More bad signals. At the same time, less friendly microbes may overgrow, releasing toxins or prompting the immune system to produce more inflammatory cytokines. High stress is one factor that can do this. Stress hormones can actually cause pathogenic bad bacteria to bloom, tipping the scales toward dysbiosis. You end up with a gut that is noisy with distress calls, inflammation, nerve signals, stress chemicals being sent to your brain. Leaky gut and brain fog. Dysbiosis often damages the gut lining, resulting in a phenomenon popularly known as leaky gut. Tiny gaps open between intestinal cells and allow microbes and particles to slip into the bloodstream. Your immune system treats these like invaders, triggering widespread inflammation. Many researchers believe this process can contribute to that brain fog or HPA axis stress overdrive seen in chronic anxiety and depression. It's as if a constant alarm is ringing in your body, elevating stress hormones like cortisol and stirring up anxious or depressive feelings. Empathy moment. If you've been blaming yourself for feeling anxious or down, consider that your gut might be fueling some of those feelings without you even knowing it. Dysbiosis is not your fault, and it can happen silently. The good news? It's fixable. We'll get to solutions soon. Before that, let's look at some fascinating discoveries that underscore how much gut imbalance and mental state are intertwined. Picture the trillions of bacteria in your intestines as tiny mood influencers. When the community is balanced, they produce compounds that keep you upbeat and resilient. When key members of this microbial community go missing, things can sour. Here are some eye-opening findings from recent science. Specific bacteria linked to depression. In large studies, researchers have identified certain bacterial groups that are consistently different in people with depression versus those without. Two examples are Coprococcus and Dialister, beneficial bacteria that were found to be significantly depleted in individuals with depression. In other words, depressed people tended to have almost a void where these bugs should be. Why does that matter? These bacteria are known to be friends to our health. Coprococcus, for instance, is a genus that includes species producing butyrate, that anti-inflammatory gut fuel. In the same study, they found that people who had more Coprococcus and a bacterium called Faecalibacterium, another butyrate producer, reported a higher quality of life and better mental well-being. So having these good guys correlates with feeling better overall. On the flip side, depression has been associated with an increase in certain pro-inflammatory microbes, for example, one called Egerthella, and a drop in the anti-inflammatory ones. It's like losing helpful gardeners in your gut and getting more weeds instead, which can choke out the healthy environment. Microbial messages and neurotransmitters. Some gut bacteria directly influence our brain chemistry. A classic example is certain strains of Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium, often found in probiotics and fermented foods, which can produce GABA or trigger increased GABA receptors in the brain, the same calming neurotransmitter targeted by many anti-anxiety meds. Others modulate levels of serotonin or dopamine by affecting how much of their precursor, tryptophan, gets converted to mood molecules versus other substances. If you're low on these helpful microbes, you might not generate as many happy neurochemicals. In essence, some gut bugs are like little mood pharmacies. When you feed and nurture them, they pump out more chill pills and happy pills naturally. When they starve or vanish, your brain's supply chain of mood chemicals can dip. Animal studies. Proof of concept. Perhaps the most striking evidence comes from animal research. Scientists have shown that you can transfer emotional traits via gut bacteria. For example, take a lab mouse with a tendency toward anxiety or depression-like behavior. Transplant its gut microbiota into a previously healthy mouse. And guess what? The recipient mouse starts exhibiting anxious or depressive behaviors. The microbiome transplant alone was enough to change the animal's mind. Similarly, transplanting gut bacteria from a person with depression into rats has induced depression-like symptoms in the animals. That's wild. It strongly suggests that the mix of microbes in our intestines can send signals that create or alleviate these mood states. Conversely, when researchers give probiotics, beneficial bacteria, to animals, they often see the animals become calmer or more resilient to stress, especially if the vagus nerve is intact to carry those signals. We're essentially finding that the gut microbiome can cause or reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression depending on how we tweak it. All of these insights point to one conclusion. Nurturing a healthy, balanced gut may be a powerful way to support your mental health. It's not science fiction, it's science fact, supported by a growing number of studies. And it's wonderfully empowering because it means there are concrete things you can do in your daily life to improve your gut-brain axis. So let's shift to the practical side. What can you do to cultivate a microbiome that works for your mood instead of against it? You don't need to be a scientist to improve your gut-brain axis. Small, evidence-backed habits can make a big difference over time. Here are 3 simple strategies. 1. Feed your good bugs with fiber-rich foods. The beneficial bacteria in your gut thrive on fiber. Plant-based foods like vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. These foods contain prebiotics, basically food for your microbes. When your microbes munch on fiber, they produce those lovely short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate, that reduce inflammation and strengthen your gut lining. More fiber means a more diverse, resilient microbiome. In one remarkable clinical trial, adults with depression were put on a whole foods Mediterranean-style diet. Think plenty of fiber from veggies, fruits, whole grains, beans, plus lean proteins and healthy fats. After 12 weeks, their depression score significantly improved compared to a control group on a regular diet, and about 32% achieved full remission versus only 8% of the control group. That's a huge impact from food alone. The take-home message: each meal is an opportunity to cultivate a happier gut. So add an extra serving of colorful veggies, swap sugary snacks for nuts or berries, choose whole grains over refined. These changes feed the good guys, and in turn, they'll feed your brain the nutrients and neurotransmitters it needs. 2. Incorporate fermented foods or probiotics. Yogurt, kefir, kombucha, sauerkraut, kimchi, miso. These tangy foods are teeming with live cultures, probiotic bacteria. Regularly eating fermented foods can introduce beneficial microbes to your gut and support a healthier balance. It's like adding more employees to the wellness team in your gut. A study of young adults found that those who ate more fermented foods had fewer symptoms of social anxiety than those who ate none. The effect was especially strong in people who were prone to anxiety, suggesting probiotics in the food were helping to take the edge off. Other research in humans has shown that certain probiotic strains, sold as supplements or naturally in fermented foods, can modestly improve mood and anxiety levels. For example, a meta-analysis of multiple clinical trials concluded that probiotics tend to alleviate depression and anxiety symptoms with minimal side effects. While more research is needed to pinpoint the best strains, it doesn't hurt that these foods are generally healthy and safe. Try adding a serving of fermented goodness to your day. Maybe a yogurt with breakfast, or a glass of kefir, some kimchi or pickled veggies with dinner, or even a kombucha as an afternoon refreshment. If fermented flavors aren't your thing, a quality probiotic supplement is another option, but whole foods give you bonus nutrients. The goal is to populate your gut with helpful critters that can crowd out the nasty ones and continuously send positive signals upstairs to your brain. 3. Get moving. Exercise for your gut and brain. Exercise isn't just a stress buster for your mind, it's a booster for your gut microbiome too. Regular physical activity has been shown to increase the diversity of gut bacteria and encourage the growth of beneficial species. Think of diversity like a rainforest. More species of microbes means a more resilient, robust ecosystem. In one observational finding, people who exercised frequently and ate plenty of fiber had more of the good gut bugs linked to mental health. And of course, exercise directly releases endorphins and can reduce anxiety and depression on its own. Even a simple walk, a gentle yoga session, or dancing in your living room can help. The key is consistency. Aim for at least 20 to 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days. Over time, this helps lower systemic inflammation and balances stress hormones as well. It's a virtuous cycle. Exercise supports a healthy microbiome, and a healthy microbiome can help regulate the stress response, making you feel more relaxed and positive. So, find activities you enjoy, bike with a friend, take a nature hike, or do some stretches at night. Your gut bugs will thank you, and your mood may steadily lift. Manage stress and sleep. Chronic stress can wreak havoc on your gut bacteria. Remember how stress can trigger dysbiosis and leaky gut. So, building stress reduction habits is part of nurturing your gut. This could be mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, journaling before bed, or simply ensuring you get enough sleep each night. Good sleep is when your body and gut get to reset and repair. Poor sleep, on the other hand, can disturb the microbiome and increase cravings for junk food, which then hurt the microbiome further. Aim for a calming evening routine. Maybe that's why our series is Neuro Nightly Insight, to give you a soothing dose of knowledge before bed. By calming your nervous system through relaxation techniques and rest, you're indirectly calming your gut as well. Fewer fight or flight signals means friendlier conditions for your microbes. By adopting even a couple of these habits, eating more fiber and fermented foods, moving your body regularly, and finding ways to de-stress, you're effectively tuning up your gut-brain axis. These are simple lifestyle tweaks with outsized benefits. Over time, they help rebuild a diverse microbiome, strengthen your gut lining, and reduce inflammatory signals. It's like repairing and upgrading the communication lines between your gut and brain, so they sing in harmony rather than scream in distress. Now, what can you expect if you put these ideas into practice? Imagine a healthier gut as the foundation for a brighter mood. Over weeks and months, as your gut flora balance out, many people report a real change in their daily life. You might wake up with a clearer mind, feeling rested instead of drained. That mental fog that made it hard to concentrate could gradually lift, like sunlight breaking through clouds after a storm. With less inflammation simmering in your body, even your body might feel lighter and more energetic. Emotionally, a nourished gut tends to mean a more stable mood. Those sudden swings into anxiety or irritability might lessen. You may find you're more resilient against stress. Little annoyances that used to set you off might barely ruffle you now. Why? Because your gut isn't sending panicked SOS signals anymore. It's sending balanced, "We got this" messages. Remember those bacteria linked to better quality of life? By feeding them, you're stacking the deck in favor of mental well-being. It won't happen overnight, and it's not a cure-all for everyone. But gradually, many notice they feel calmer, clearer, and more emotionally even. It's you, but with the volume on negative thoughts turned down and the positive vibes turned up. Perhaps most importantly, you regain a sense of control. Knowing that your daily choices can influence your mood is empowering. You're no longer passively at the mercy of brain chemistry. You are actively shaping that chemistry from the ground up, or rather from the gut up. This can create a positive feedback loop. As you feel better, you're motivated to continue these healthy habits, which then make you feel even better. Take a moment to appreciate that connection. When you care for your gut, you're also caring for your mind. It's a beautiful partnership within your body. A calmer gut often reflects as a calmer mental state. A thriving inner ecosystem can translate to a happier you. We've journeyed through the hidden pathways between our belly and our brain, and the takeaway is clear. Your moods are deeply intertwined with your gut health. The phrase, "listen to your gut," carries new weight now. It's not just metaphorical wisdom, but biological truth. By following practical steps like eating gut-friendly foods, staying active, and managing stress, you can start to balance that inner ecosystem. Over time, you'll likely notice the changes not just in digestion, less bloating, better regularity perhaps, but in your outlook and calmness. If you found these insights helpful, give this video a thumbs up and consider sharing it with someone who might be struggling with their mood or gut issues. Sometimes a solution isn't what we expect, and this knowledge could be the missing piece for them. Comment below. Have you noticed the connection between your diet or gut and your mood? Do you have any favorite foods or routines that lift your spirits? I'd love to hear your experiences. This channel is a place to learn and support each other. Don't forget to subscribe to Neuro Nightly Insight so you won't miss upcoming episodes in this Gut-Brain Axis series. We're just getting started on this 100-episode journey, and each episode will gently build our understanding. In episode 3, we'll dive into dysbiosis itself. Basically, what happens when the gut ecosystem goes haywire. How can you tell if you have gut imbalances? What are the common gut problems like SIBO, Candida, leaky gut, and how do they affect your body and mind? And most importantly, how can you fix a dysbiosis once you spot it? If your gut's been giving you grief, or you're curious about troubleshooting gut health, stay tuned for that one. Thank you for watching and joining me in this exploration. Remember, it's not all in your head. A lot of it is in your gut. And that's actually good news. It means you have more avenues to heal and find balance. Take care of your gut, and it will take care of you. Until next time, I wish you a calm mind, a happy gut, and a good night.